Alex will talk about on the rocks the swell direction and the wind direction and what roles they play in and how they affect your fishing spot. You guys need to be really familiar with what happens out on the water. No different to the surf lifesavers and what they've got to deal with rips and currents. Yes, Jesse?
Where to check the weather? Like if I want to check false start?
Yeah, again, the Bureau of Meteorology, bom.gov.au, has got all of New South Wales broken up into 8 different regions, and we'll give you an update on each of those regions. So it's Illawarra, Far South Coast, North Coast, Central Coast, Far North Coast, and Sydney. And it really is quite simple to go out and find what the weather is doing.
So just 1 day or 2 day forecast, or do
the Bureau gives a 3-day forecast. Yeah, some of the websites out there give a 7-day forecast. Things like SwellNet, and we'll try to get some of this information out. And things like SwellNet, Coastal Watch give you a 7-day forecast as well to give you an idea. If you know what your spot's like in calm, you should know what it's going to be like when it's rough as well. So if you can see that we're going to get a 3 metre seas, before you leave home, you should be thinking that, again, North Curl is not good in a 2 or 3 metre sea. I've got to go somewhere else. Don't drive out here and go fishing here. You need to sort of pre-plan before you leave home on what you should be doing.
So the minimum is, like the maximum is anything over 2 meters?
Jesse, there is no minimum or max. If you cannot swim and you fell off these rocks today, you will drown. A lot of these rocks are very steep, very sharp, are full of barnacles, are full of weed, and they're very slippery. So even if you fall in when it's calm, there's a good chance you won't be able to get back up. And struggle, get tired. Again, we've had guys drown in Botany Bay, and it was as flat as this. And they fell in, and they just couldn't get back up on the rocks. They couldn't swim around anywhere else to get out, and they just kept on trying to get out, and you just can't. You cut your hands. We'll show you out there today the barnacles that are out there. Even when you get knocked over by a wave, a lot of people get injuries, get all their legs scraped, big chunks of, big cuts on them. I mean, the oysters and the barnacles out there are razor sharp. You see when your fishing line touches it, it cuts it straight away. It's, you know, when it hits your flesh, it knocks you out. So yeah, again, most of those rocks, most of our coastal rocks are slippery. I mean, you only have to look out across the other side of the bay, and you can see where all the rocks are near the water there, and they're all brown. They're all covered in weed. It's low tide, but all those rocks down near the water level are covered in a brown, slippery weed. So you just cannot claw out with your fingernails. So yeah, unless you've got the ability to swim to a beach to come out, there's a good chance, even conditions like this today, if you can't swim, doesn't matter who you are, you'll drown out there. So there is no formula. You have to think about your skill level, and your swimming ability will dictate what you can fish in. Alex here, who does it every day, could fish in conditions that I can't fish in, or that all of us would drown if we tried to go out and fish next to Alex. But again, he's done it for a long time. He can read the water. He knows what he can handle. We all have to determine our limits as well when we get out there. And it's not only, we have to think about if we take our kids on the rocks, our wives, our girlfriends, you know, yeah, sure, we can get out, but what about them? They're the people we need to think about. We're having quite a few instances now of ladies drowning off the rocks, and I know 3 that weren't even fishing, that were just fishing, were out there to keep their husbands company. And they got caught out either walking out on high tide, get knocked over and washed in. So it really is something we need to think about when we fish. We've had children, we rescue a lot of children that get washed in off the rocks. Just children, you know, you turn away for a minute and they're near the edge. So we need to think about, you know, kids as well. Everyone needs to sort of have some safety gear and some plan when we go fishing. And again, if it's too rough and you think it's not safe, you need to find somewhere else to fish, is what is the message that we really want to get out to you guys. Alex, anything to add, mate? Questions, go.
If you fall in and you're wearing a life jacket, is it safer to actually swim away from the rock?
The whole idea is, and the message that we and surf life, and everyone will tell you, is if you fall in, swim away from the rocks. You know, you get away from the waves. You're falling in 9 times out of 10 because it's rough and the waves knocked you over. So by you coming in, close to the rocks will put you in danger. A wave hitting a rock like that and you're trying to get up and down is no good. You come out here, but the wave is going under you, it's not breaking. So again, the advice is, even if a life jacket, a rope, a float or a bucket, you know, you need to swim away from the rocks and stay out there and find somewhere else to get out. Again, if you fall in here next to a beach out there, swim to the beach. We had an angler who was washing off the rocks on last Sunday. He fell in, they had an angel ring, they threw a ring to him, and a surfer came and got him on his surfboard and got him out on the beach. So, but you know, the rescue services can't get in close to the rocks. The guys in the helicopters can't get into the wash zone. The guys in the rubber duckies or the jet skis from Surf Life Saving can't get into that wash zone. The best thing is to swim out and just wait to be rescued. But you have to be able to swim. So put a life jacket on. Like I said, you can float out there for a week. You're not. There's not many sharks out here. That's the least of your problems. You know, someone will, you know, find out that you're missing, and they will come and get you. The risk is when you fish alone and you fall in and you've got your life jacket on and you're waiting to be rescued, if no one knows what time you're coming home, you know, okay, Vincent, he's not home, it's 10 o'clock, where is he? He should have been home at 10, you know, let's try Vincent's mobile. You know, at 11 o'clock or even earlier, we should be ringing some of his friends. We should be, you know, ringing the police. Look, my son went fishing, he's 1 hour overdue, and we need to start getting these things happening. The Catherine Hill Bay incident, the Chinese that drowned up there, the alarm wasn't raised for, we think, at least 11 hours. And I don't want to sound disrespectful, it's such a tragedy to the family, but the rangers up there were not alerted till 1 o'clock the next day. So it's potential there for, it was 15 hours before an alarm was raised. In winter, water temperature now is 17 degrees. Someone that's a little bit old, hypothermia, everything kicks in, you panic, it's dark, everything is just multiplies. A lot of things run through your head, a lot of people give up in the dark as well. So again, don't wait for that 15 hours to raise the alarm, you know. You're home, you're supposed to be home 10 o'clock, if you're not home, you know, your family should be ringing, looking for you. No, I've stopped at the pub for a beer, I've gone to get something to eat, or the fishing's, or, you know, if the fishing's good, and you want to stay a bit longer, ring the family back up and say, look, I want to stay another couple of hours, I'll be home at 2 o'clock. Even I've experienced rock fisher. You know, my family knows what time I'm due back. If there's no one home, I write a note, back, 6 o'clock. You know, Alex's friends knows where he is, what time he's back. Back, 7 o'clock. You know, when they see that note and it's, you know, it's 7 o'clock and they start, you know, they should worry, because it's a pretty dangerous environment out there. So it is quite important that you tell, you know, people what you're doing. You could, you know, even without a life jacket out there, you could float around there for an hour or two. But 10, 11 hours is really, it's too long.